Welcome to this special edition of the Ionavation Podcast. I am Jordan Providence.
I'm Alexander Garces.
And today we have Lindsay Simon and Delia Hughes, co-founders of Tazzy. How are you guys doing after your e-talk today?
Oh, great. This has been a lot of fun. We enjoyed this.
Invigorated.
Yeah.
Ready.
Okay. The first question I had is, when it comes to like creating cookies and candies and sweets, what was that special moment in you guys' lives that made you realize that this was in the cards for you?
Well, we both always wanted to start our own food business. And, we started with the hard candies and lollipop business because we saw an opportunity in the market. Then when we launched the cookies and the chocolate coated cookies, the aha moment, and this was in the cards, came when we tried the product and we're like, oh crap, this is so good.
So good.
Like, it's so tasty. It's not like anything else out there. And we're like, this is just such a cool innovation that's mainstream yet differentiated enough that we think people will love it. So it was really like the taste.
Mm-hmm.
Once we tasted the final product, we're like, yeah, this is ready.
When you eat your own samples and then you're out of samples and then you have to order more samples, that's when you know.
So what do you guys think is commonly overlooked in the candy business, like in the process of making it?
Probably cost. I think a lot of emerging brands enter the candy space and they are really expensive. Mm-hmm. And when you look at candy is a pretty inexpensive category, specifically like gummies or like sugar candy, because sugar is the bulk ingredient and it's quite inexpensive. And a lot of these big candy brands are still using artificial colors, artificial flavors, which are cheap. So when you are a candy brand that comes in that wants to take maybe a better for you spin, your ingredients automatically can become like 3x what the classic candy companies are buying ingredients at. Plus, you don't have scale. So then when you get the product on the shelf and your product is, let's say, 3 to 4 times, even 5 times the cost of the classic candies, I think people don't realize that, that could just be like a huge barrier to consumers. So when you're making candy, I think thinking about cost and the efficiency, like how much the product can scale and how easy it is to make. All of that stuff is so important because as you keep growing, you want to make sure you can compete on price with the big guys. Not that you'll ever get it as low, but I think it's just something to really consider.
Yeah, and with candy, promotions are so important. And when you think about seasonality and competing with the other brands, you have to make sure that you have the profit to be able to promote as well. So it all plays into this cost challenge.
Buy one, get one free, 50% off.
Yeah.
That all comes out of your margin. So making sure you have that.
Makes sense. So Delia, you mentioned ingredients. And your consumers aren't going to understand what goes into it. They just care about how good it tastes. So what is the process like from start to finish when you get the idea for a cookie or sweet or whatever it is, from the scientific aspect of it, of building it and making sure that it's, whatever it is, if it's ethical or it's not going to explode on your consumers, and actually executing it and getting it on the market? What's the process from start to finish?
It is, first of all, starting with the product development, which is exactly that, figuring out the ingredients, figuring out the formula. And, most consumers don't care about ingredients, but I would say our consumer does. They're looking at the ingredient list.
They'll turn the package over and actually read what's in it, is what we found.
So the mission of our company is we use classic baking ingredients. So basically things you would bake at home with. Right? Nothing really funky, nothing
super sciencey.
Yeah, super sciencey. It's butter, sugar, eggs, flour, baking soda, salt. Okay, got it. So when we come up with a product concept, that's lo and behold, the only thing we're really focusing on is classic ingredients, making sure that we can conduct or create a formula with that. And then we make the cookie base and then we choose the chocolate. And because all of our cookies are coated in chocolate. And choosing the chocolate is really hard. Chocolate is like so diverse. We source responsibly sourced chocolate, and milk chocolate, for instance, there's a wide variety of milk chocolates for depending on how much cocoa is in it, to how much milk, to how much cocoa butter, and all of that impacts how well that it coats the cookie, impacts the actual taste. Like if something has more sugar and less cocoa, sometimes it can be like way too sweet. But sometimes you want that. Sometimes you want like the over sweet, but sometimes we want like the really rich cocoa taste to balance like a really sweet cookie. So it's like get kind of like, it's fun because it's like as if you were like making something at home, right? You're like testing and trying.
And I think you have to think about when we were choosing the chocolate is the viscosity, which is kind of like the thickness of it, I guess is how I would frame it. On our machine, it basically is like a waterfall of chocolate. And so I know it is like Willy Wonka in this factory.
Is it like, I don't know if you've seen it, but sometimes like in Disney World, they have like machines that's
I've
like
seen
pulling the candy just like that. It's like that machine.
No. That's like for
shit.
sugar candy.
Got it.
Yes, it's like a waterfall of chocolate and the cookies go through it.
Yeah, and so we always have to make sure that the chocolate even works. Like sometimes you'll make something, they call it on bench top, so like in the kitchen. And we're like, this chocolate, so good, perfect for the cookie, doesn't run on the machine. And then we have to find another chocolate.
Yeah. So it's just like a lot of it's trial and error, honestly.
That sounds so good.
I would like to go to a chocolate factory.
Our last question is like, what message do you have for aspiring entrepreneurs at Iona University, especially women? Because you guys were successful. So what specific advice would you give to women at our campus?
I think the most important thing, this is so cheesy, but if you want it, like, don't give up. Like, I think that you have so many challenges along the way, and everything can feel like a failure each time you hit a wall. But I think that we've learned over the past 5 years that every single like fire drill that comes up, we somehow resolve it and we move past it and we move on. If we make mistakes, we don't make it a second time. Maybe we make it a second time. We won't make it a third time. So it's really about the grit. You really just have to have grit. And if you have that, I think that you can actually go after whatever it is that you're trying to pursue.
Yeah. And
Well spoken.
I mentioned this earlier, but I think finding someone in your life that will be your champion, whether it's a friend, a partner, a parent, like who is going to be the person that when you're so low because you hit another roadblock, they're pulling you up and being like, believe in yourself. I believe in you. You can do it. And then eventually learning how to become that for yourself. And I think that is very challenging, but you have to figure out how to become that for yourself. And Lindsay mentioned this previously in the e-talk, but especially for women, networking and reaching out to people, reaching out to other founders, or even people that are just like a year ahead of you. I think that those people have been the most helpful. Like not the crazy successful entrepreneurs, like this person that's like 1 year ahead of you, that's kind of just been through the same obstacle you were in and can give you relevant advice. Because the world changes so quickly. Someone that was successful 20 years ago wouldn't necessarily be successful in today's world because times are so different. So trying to find people that you really admire, that you can ask questions to, ask all the silly questions to, because that's how you really learn. It's like from other people going through it, experiencing it, and yeah, just asking for help. Always. We ask for so much help.
It's never ashamed to ask for help when you need the most.
Yeah, that's true.
So, unfortunately, that's all the time we have today. This was a special edition of the Ionavation Podcast. I am Jordan Providence.
I'm Alexander Garces.
Lindsay, Delia, thank you for showing up. We really appreciate the energy you brought to our campus. Do you have any last words for us?
Just thank you for having us.
Yeah.
This has been great.
You guys are great interviewers.
Yeah.
Thank you. Follow us at Hynes Institute, all of our platforms. Peace out.